Today is 5th of February 2023, like we normally do every Sunday. I want to welcome you to this very show, the business edition, where we're going to make a recap of the stories that we normally do in the weekly bulletin. Among the stories we're going to look at is the NSSF issues, where the requisition by the Minister for Gender among his 60 billion has brought a lot of controversies during the Parliament's Select Committee that is investigating the NSSF issues. And then from there, we'll be rushing to Kabale District, where members of the Kabale Central Market, tenants are making a lot of noise over what they call improper allocation of stalls in the market. Stay around, we'll be right back and we'll make more of the stories that will be coming up in your way. This is the business edition. My name is Pedison Mumbere. A very good evening, you're most welcome once again. This is the business edition. Now, our first story is going to come from the Parliament of Uganda. Remember, last week, the Parliament appointed a committee that's going to investigate NSSF issues. And now when they sat, there was rumors that the Minister for Gender, Betty Amongi, requested for 6 billion from the NSSF fund. And now the chairman of the committee, William Parker, asked officials whether this money was approved. Listen and hear what the Minister of Finance had to respond over this. Our reporter was on ground and let us have more of the details.
I received the petitions.
The controversial 6 billion shillings continues to dominate the current NSSF management investigations. Today, the Finance and Gender Ministries locked horns as Matia Kasaija faulted Betty Amongi over the money in question.
I could not ask NSSF to give money to run the affairs of government. If anything, I think that they could ask me, but I wouldn't say also I wouldn't give you because you have got your own money. You prepare your budget, you present it.
So who asked for the money?
The 6 billion?
Yes.
It is not me.
According to Honorable Kasaija, it was irregular for the Minister of Gender, Honorable Betty Amongi, to ask for the 6 billion from the fund in pretext to address activities in her ministry, yet the budget comprehensively caters for it.
Honorable Minister, was it irregular for the Minister to ask for the 6 billion?
I think I'm repeating, really to me, it is irregular because a ministry that is supervising that body should not ask for money to run the affairs of the ministry, even if it is that those affairs are related to the fund. They should request money from the treasury. We give them the money for treasury, and then because this money is not our money. Please, let's be very clear. This money is workers' money.
Earlier on, when the committee met the Gender Minister, she acknowledged the 6 billion shillings but denied being the initiator of the transaction. She also informed the committee that the law offers her authority and power to go as far as even amending the NSSF budget.
I want that interpretation from the legal department because issues have arisen whether I have power to amend the budget of NSSF. And I am reading for you NSSF law with my power, the power that you gave me as this parliament. If you don't want me to exercise that power, please remove it away from me.
Although the committee managed to meet the sidelined former managing director of the fund, Richard Byarugaba, the arrangement wasn't conclusive as he informed the committee that all allegations of corruption raised against him are false. He also asked the committee for a fair hearing to explain himself.
But certainly I would like to be heard because, as I've said, these are allegations which have been in the public domain, but they haven't been put to me. So yes, I would like to be heard.
Can we give you the opportunity tomorrow? You give us a convenient time. You would be able to prepare and come with a response to those issues you think you need to clarify on in regards to the allegations, so that in our report it can be captured.
Minister Kasaija went on to add that the idea of dual supervision of the fund was improper, just like the president had advised in a letter.
Me, right from the word go, colleagues, I was not persuaded that this dual thing would work very well. First of all, the president had made it very clear in his letter. There is the letter of 4th October, he says, for 2019, confirmation of my decision to transfer the NSSF from the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development to the Ministry of Finance and Planning and Economic Development. It says, I do not agree with the proposal in the NSSF Amendment B of 2019 to split the oversight mandate of the NSSF under two government agencies.
The committee is still on course to exhaust all witness reports and submissions. Mr. Byarugaba is said to appear again tomorrow before the committee for interrogation. Samlanifa, Smart24 TV.
Thank you very much. That's coming you from the Parliament of Uganda. Remember, some media reports have been showing that these controversies started when the Minister of Gender, Social Development made a requisition from NSSF of 6 billion, but it never refunded back. That money never came back to the ministry. Now, others are saying that was the reason as to why the appointment of former ED NSSF was not renewed. Now, let us get to another story here. We're now going to Bukalasa, where the president of Uganda told Ugandans to adopt better farming methods to improve on agricultural production and, of course, with the better living conditions. Museveni made the remarks while commissioning a farm facility worth 40 billion. Our reporter was on ground, and let us have more of the details.
The NRM, and me in particular, for almost the last 60 years, have been advising you that seek ye the homestead incomes, the rest will be added unto you.
In April 2013, Uganda launched Vision 2040, inspired by a 2007 cabinet-approved national vision statement to transform Uganda from a peasant to a modern, prosperous country in a space of just 30 years. Such has been the background of President Museveni's message to the people of Luweero as he undermined the looming poverty despite infrastructure development of roads, hospitals, and other social services.
Kubanga ebyo byonna bye mugamba, enguudo, amasanyalazi, amalwaliro, district headquarters, ebyo bye mugamba, ebyo byonna biri mu kitu kya nkulaakulana, development. Naye enkulaakulana eyo ne bwe tukola oluguudo lwa korasi ne luyitawo nga luno oluyita wali ew'obulenzi, terusobola butereevu okumalawo obwetaavu obuli mu nnyumba yo, obwavu obuli mu nnyumba yo.
Bukalasa Agricultural College, a legendary tertiary colonial initiative and now under the supervision of the Ministry of Agriculture, has been valued for championing science-led agricultural production in crops and animal products. The president further urged Ugandans to use these agricultural institutions as a knowledge infrastructure.
The chairman was saying, the chairman of the district was talking about the food factory, but as Tumaba said, there's already a factory here. Nsanzewo omwana omugisu yabadde akulira omulimu ogwo. So they are doing four things here. Livestock and crop production, number one. Number two, food, animal feed, growing and processing. Number three, skilling, training these young people. And number four, value addition. All those are being done here. This is a big contribution, but you, the community, you must use it, must learn from it.
The First Lady, who doubles as Minister of Education and Sports, Honorable Janet Museveni, informed the gathering that Uganda strives to transform its human resource. Bukalasa and other technical colleges are to quicken the industrial process. She was further happy to learn that Bukalasa has been equipped to add value addition to agricultural products, such as fruits, milk, among others.
It is even more motivating now to know that Bukalasa has been equipped to add value, as you heard, to their products, such as fruits, and I was hoping milk, because we have animals here now. We really can pack the milk and other agricultural products in time. I was thinking, Honorable Minister of Agriculture, that we also can build silos right here so that they can store dry cereals and foodstuffs, so that when we have food shortages, we can get help from these agricultural colleges, or at least specialize in seed banking, because we are having issues with seeds, and these colleges should be able at least to do that.
The college principal, Gelvan Kisololule, informed the president that the commission's state-of-the-art infrastructure has not only benefited students but also farmers and groups from within and outside Lower District to acquire agriculture skills.
Your Excellency, the new infrastructure will not only support training at the college, but we also intend to use it as a business incubation center for farmers groups from near and far, and also for students. The fruit processing plant you have commissioned today can handle at least 20 tons of fruits per day. Your Excellency, we have already started working with farmers groups like Bachabumba Farmers Group in Butuntumula. We also have Basoka Kwavula Cooperative Society in Gomba, and we also have PK Farmers in Bamunanika. We intend to work with them on this project so that we can also enhance capacity at lower level.
The Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Honorable Frank Tumwebaze, expressed gratitude to government for prioritizing the Agriculture College to enhance skilling and innovation and upheaval for the market.
When you go to the universities, the specialized faculties, you see products ready for the market. So one step perhaps we shall do as government, the Ministry of Agriculture will sit with the Ministry of Education to discuss how we can support these institutions to operate dedicated separate business arms that will help to commercialize their products.
Bukalas Agriculture College, originally established in 1920 as a cotton research center by the Imperial Cotton Research Program that laid foundation for the current Agriculture Ministry and success, has been prudent to the drive towards agricultural transformation. Andrew Barije, Monica Navionga, Smart24.
Yeah, that's the president of Uganda making remarks in as far as agriculture is concerned and trying to improve on agricultural production for better living methods, and of course with an intention of collecting the revenue in as far as that lines is concerned. Remember, he was in Lower District where they are going to construct this facility that is worth 40 billion. Now, like I said, let's now rush to Kabale District, where tenants from the Kabale Central Market are almost protesting over what they call unfair distribution of stalls within the market. This, of course, forced the local government minister, Raphael Majezi, to rush to Kabale District before the situation comes out of hand. Our correspondent was there, and we had to collect this information. Let us have a look.
At his remarks at the meeting, the chairperson for lockups owners in Kabale Central Market, Reverend Canon Jackson Katarishangwa, says that some vendors were given access to more than one lockup just because they had the option of purchasing them in violation of the presidential directive for one vendor per lockup. He further explains that the municipality officials have been treating the lockup committee leadership as if they have no business in the new Central Market, and that the police and UPDF chased them out of the session held to settle the market drama and seek lasting solutions. Jack further appealed to the minister to intervene before things get out of hand.
Why should the municipality officials want to take us as people who never existed in this market? Our lockups were permanently built with metallic doors, cemented floors, etc. Why should the mayor especially want to take us as people who are not having our rights as Ugandans? your intervention is highly welcome before things go out of hand.
Other trustworthy merchants with legitimate documentation claim that municipalities' town clerk posted notices reminding them to check their names on the market notice board, but to their astonishment, they did not find any list. They further told the minister that when the lists were located, they were tossed from one office to the another looking for reasons why they are not included.
Someone was meant to check for their names, and in case of errors, then they would be rectified. I'm wondering where this list could have gone.
The mayor, Kabale Municipality, Emmanuel Sentaro Byamcha, in defending himself, says that the vendors should tell the minister the whole truth. Byamcha further requested the minister on the Forbidden Committee to add an IT specialist for the police.
Ever since I came into this municipality, I have not taken any bribe. The market has cameras. They should be reviewed in case they find any fault. They should report to you, but stop accusing me falsely.
Raphael Majesi, the Minister of Local Government, asserts that he has established a special committee under the direction of the Kabale RDC to carry out a full assessment of all vendors as well as allocation, particularly lockups. He further states that the inquiries might go up to 10 days. Majesi adds that anyone who took money from sellers should return it right away or risk being arrested.
Satan should not attempt you and you give out someone's lockup in this government market. If I come after 10 days, I will not hesitate to arrest them. I was told that some rent lockups at 6 million. Aladisi, you have permission to arrest the culprits.
The new Kabale Central Market started operating on 10th January 2023, and the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Museveni, is expected to officially open it. Mercy Katsime for Smart24 TV.
Yeah, this is what is happening in Kabale, where tenants from the Kabale Central Market are making a lot of statements and noise over what they call unfair distribution of stalls. Let me hope this won't happen in other markets around the country. Of course, government has gone ahead constructing a lot of markets in different districts. I remember in Barara there's one, in Fort Portal there's one, in Kasese there's one central market. So it's always good to always have these stalls distributed on a fair basis. Now, getting to another story here, we're seeing East African community has finally welcomed Somalia in the community. According to reports from Somalia, they believe that this membership will help to enhance cross-border trade and, of course, improving on the economy of the same country, that's Somalia. Our reporter had all these reports, and let us have what he had to compile for us.
The East African community currently has 7 member states, including Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan, and the most recent one, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Somalia expressed interest in joining the East African community when the President Hassan Sheikh, on the 21st of July 2022, stimulated his country's interest to join the East African community bloc, which would bring significant economic benefits to the country and the region as a whole. For a country to join the East African community, it has to meet a certain criteria, which includes a stable political environment, a functioning market economy, willingness to adopt and implement the EAC Treaty and protocols. Somalia, despite its ongoing political and security challenges, has made significant progress in recent years. The country has a growing economy, with agriculture, livestock and fishing as the main drivers of growth. And additionally, it has a strategic location of the Horn of Africa and the Gulf of Aden, which would be beneficial for trade and transportation within the region. Furthermore, vetting Somalia for membership in the East African community has the potential to bring significant benefits for both Somalia and the East African community. It is important for Somalia to demonstrate political stability, economic development, and compliance with East African community rules and regulations. In return, Somalia can bring its diverse culture, strategic location, and economic opportunities to the East African community. It is recommended that the East African community proceeds with the vetting process for Somalia. Bronia Katusime Jorampo Sonko.
Yeah, in this very missions, I can see here the East African community also launched the verification mission to assess Somalia's readiness to join the East African community. And the East African chief visited Somalia in October last year and to see the president of Somalia, that's none other than President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed, to see if Somalia is really ready for this East African community. This is going to help in as far as enhancing economy and cross-border trade within the two countries. Remember, Somalia has not been under the East African community because of some reasons, but I hope if they sit down and see how best they can improve on this, Somalia will benefit this more than any other country because it is at the border. Now getting to another story here, we see the civil society organization that is CSBAG and others have faulted government over the budget allocations here in the country. They think that government should have prioritized some government institutions or some programs that would fetch more revenue than putting money on some programs that are not going to fetch a lot of money in as far as development is concerned. Our reporter Bronia Katsimi had this for us. Let's wait and see.
In the budget for the financial year 2023-2024, the government has, through its program-based funding, further focused on driving socio-economic transformation and recovery metered by the National Development Plan 3 among devolved parameters. Uganda's GDP dropped from 6.4% in the 2018-2019 financial year to 3.0% in 2019-2022 due to economic shocks that sharply slowed the economic growth. Despite resilience evidenced by the gradual growth trend, 3.5% in the financial year 2020-2021 to a projection of 6.0% in the upcoming financial year, a comprehensive approach commitment to key investments.
On the part of consolidating the good things that are in the budget, number one is the reduction in domestic borrowing. We believe that is very good because you are reducing from 5 trillion to 1 trillion. You are sending a signal to the banks in this country that in the next financial year, you should lend money more to the private sector than to government. And we are really, that signal has got two major consequences that are likely to come. Number one, the interest rates are likely to come down because now banks are going to be stuck with money and therefore they are likely to reduce the interest rates. But also we are likely to see economic recovery because more private sector will be getting loans to generate production and also create employment.
Investment in infrastructure, increased funding for sectors such as agriculture to support market stability and food security, plus a sustainable investment climate are noted necessities. According to Honorable Agnes Atim Apea, a member of the Budget Committee, government needs to invest in areas that generate vast revenue to get the country back to its feet.
The first questions we are asking all the sectors and budgets that are presenting to us is what is the source of revenue? Because most sectors come asking for more money. And when they ask for more money, you're asking them as a sector, show us the areas where you are generating revenue. And we normally guide that if I were the accounting officer, I would invest money in areas that would generate more revenue.
Following the damage of global inflation, the Bank of Uganda has had to maintain monetary sanity through its policies, which has recorded a high lending rate to regulate the circulation of money amidst outcry by the investment community over uncertainty.
In the strategic plan of the bank, 2022-2027, which we launched last year, one of our strategic objectives is to enhance price stability. And here we are looking specifically at inflation. Our target is to keep inflation at 5% with a deviation margin of plus or minus 3. So 5% is our objective. And if you ask me why 5%, this is based on empirical studies. Empirical studies show that in most developing economies, the 5% target is a good target to achieve growth, while in advanced economies, they do about 2%, they target about 2%. So yes, our objective is to keep inflation at 5%.
Additionally, there is a call for public-private partnerships and the civil society to offer joint support for the growth and development across all sectors of the economy.
So I think as government, for effective budget execution and effective service delivery, we need to harmonize, we need to synergize, and we need to work together. We need to have that one spine system where money comes from top to down and directly where there is a need and there is a service that needs to be provided.
With the right investment, policy implementation, and prudent budgeting, there still lives a bigger possibility of realizing key development goals, economic revival, and sustainability. Bronia Katsime, Smart24 TV.
Yeah, that's all our story coming in from Bronia Katsimi about civil society organization. Remember, these civil society organizations have always made some recommendations that even when government takes them on, they can as well contribute to the development of this very country. They have come up with good ideas, of course, if you've been following them all along. So thank you, our reporter, Bronia Katsimi. Now, we'll be going in for a short commercial break, and when we come back, more of the stories will be cutting up on your way. Stay around. This is the Business Edition.
Smart24, driving business.
What if you could boost your most loved entertainment? We're up in the ante. Upgrade your DSTV package and we'll boost you to the next higher package at no extra cost. If you're on Access and step up to Family, you get boosted to Compact.
You know what I mean.
If you're on Family, step up to Compact and we'll boost you to Compact Plus.
That's an absolute ripper.
And if you're on Compact, step up to Compact Plus. You'll get boosted to Premium.
It's gonna be lit.
Step up and we'll boost you even higher at no extra charge with DSTV.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Fun battery full.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Capote Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Capote deal this Christmas and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Capote Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN. Regulated by UCC.
I'm Ziria Tibarwa Wako. I head the Electricity Regulatory Authority. The electricity supply industry in Uganda has gone through very interesting evolution. This is a very interesting story that is globally envied. How the country has moved from where the private capital was shying away to now where private capital is running to grab whichever projects are available within the electricity supply industry. And these investments have gone a long way to improve the infrastructure and support improvement in the power supply quality and reliability. It has been a journey of a lot of focus and sacrifice from all of us to be able to build the electricity supply industry sector that the globe now is admiring. And now we have a rock to stand on and even thrive better.
Smart24, driving business.
Welcome back from that commercial break. The business edition is still continuing. Now we are going to look at the URA half-year performance. I have the records here that this thing we had it last week. Though, like Uganda Revenue Authority has collected 11.67 trillion in the half-year revenue performance. And remember, if we are doing like that, maybe there will be something that is tangible in as far as revenue collection is concerned. While addressing the media, the URA boss, that's Rujochi, said, Mr. Rujochi Musinguzi, the Commissioner General, says that whereas there is a slight shortfall of 94.8 billion, the general performance was 99.19%. Of course, we are doing better. Our reporter, Nisima Mata, had all these reports for us. Let's see what she had to compile for us.
Uganda Revenue Authority had set a target of 11,764.83 billion Ugandan shillings for the period of July to December 2022, which is 46.78% of the annual target. 11,670.03 billion Ugandan shillings in net revenue was collected, accumulating to 46.40% of the annual target. This therefore reflects a slight failure to hit its target. The authority's gross domestic revenue collection for the half-year period amounts to 7 billion Ugandan shillings, 470 million, suppressing the target of 7,450.71 billion Ugandan shillings. This translates into a surplus of just 19.32 billion, a positive outcome for the authority, indicating that the organization's efforts to mobilize revenue are yielding. Currently, Uganda Revenue Authority is set to adopt a comprehensive approach to tax education and sensitization in order to achieve its ambitious revenue target for the second half of this financial year. The authority believes that through a holistic approach to tax education and raising awareness about tax obligation, it can effectively mobilize the revenue necessary to meet its target.
The revenue target for the second half year is 13,386.74 billion. 13,386.74 billion, which accounts for 53.22% of the annual target of 25.151 trillion.
The collection of gross international taxes for the period of July to December 2022 amounted to 4,453.85 billion Ugandan shillings, suppressing the target of 4,563.95 billion Ugandan shillings and achieving a performance of 97.59%. All a positive sign for Uganda's revenue. Meanwhile, the authority and Ministry of Finance recognize the critical role that effective revenue collection plays in supporting the country's economic growth and stability, and are working together to achieve this goal. This collaboration aims at ensuring support and resource availability to mobilize revenue.
So what we are doing is to have engagement with the Ministry of Finance to make sure that each time the payments are made, then the corresponding tax is actually remitted to the URA. We also have an interface with the IFMIS, the system which they're using, so we are able to track the payments which are being made and making sure that at least the tax is indeed recovered by the URA.
For the half-year report, businesses in wholesale and retail, manufacturing, financial activities, information and communication, plus the security sector have contributed light as the economic climate regains stability. Martha Nimsima, Smart24 TV.
Yeah, that's the Uganda Revenue Authority trying to read to us or give us their performance on how they are working in as far as revenue collection is concerned. Now, having talked about the revenue collection, now the thing is, how is that money being used, of course? That's why we are going to talk about corruption at the moment. We're seeing the cost of corruption to the economy, where most of the stakeholders convened somewhere in Parliament, and our reporter had to make very many interviews, some few interviews of the people who responded to this and trying to show how corruption is is making the country to suffer a lot, trying to suffocate most of the government programs that are going on. Bronia Katsime had more of this story, and let's see what she had to do for us.
An empirical study initiated by the Inspectorate of Government in 2021 discovered that 23% of the annual government budget is lost to corruption. Corruption in the public sector is common in many developing nations, which has an impact on contracting procedures, the allocation of public funds, and procurement procedures. Numerous studies, including the East Africa Bribery Index and the National Integrity Survey, demonstrate that Ugandan citizens frequently can only access public services, particularly health and education, if they are prepared to pay a bribe to the government employees who act as gatekeepers of these services.
Now government won't realize its goal, because now you will see that if you look at the financial year 2022 and 2023, you will find that government's projections are always affected by elements of corruption, by elements of bribe. You find that recently the Auditor General's report was indicating that some government agencies are not even making returns to URA. They're not making returns to bodies which are responsible for receiving returns, and that alone hinders the development of a country, because now we won't have a basket or a pool of funds, to sustain number of government programs and activities. Close to $1 trillion shilling, or more than $1 trillion shilling, has been lost.
In order to significantly reduce corruption, it is important to put in place strong anti-corruption laws and institutions, improve accountability, and promote openness in government spendings. Alvin Mutebi, a policy expert, argues that Uganda must put the laws against corruption into effect rather than just having them on paper.
Let us be systematic. Detect the corruption, come up with a report, and implicate the right person for having been fraudulent while in a public office. And then we shall take action based on the report that has been thoroughly investigated.
Corruption is a scourge of modern life, costing not only Uganda but the world $483 billion in tax abuse by multinational corporations and rich people, and $13 trillion in public spending lost to corruption.
We do not have information to quantify the damages, the true actual figures, to quantify the damages that these elements of corruption has caused to the economy. Because now, to me, I would suggest that if we now start calculating, we'll be like, okay, this financial year, this is what we expected to have achieved. How much have we achieved? And what are the contributions of corruption towards this? And then we can now elevate and see, or we can now compare and see the performance of the economy, and then we see the bottlenecks, which are corruption and maybe bribery.
In order to overcome these obstacles, the government must combat corruption holistically and collaborate with the private sector to improve the business climate and increase transparency. The public has to stop accepting corruption as a way of life, but instead be aware that they have a right to decent service. Bronia Katsime, Smart24 TV.
Yeah, that's a great one coming from Bronia Katsime, trying to see the cost of corruption on this economy. Of course, this has affected the economic growth of this very country. And then according to data that I have here, they're saying over 23% of the annual budget is lost to corruption, and this is dangerous. So it's up to us and some other big stakeholders, all of us, to fight against corruption. In case of any corruption actions, this IGG toll-free number that you must look for us both online, and you can make an alarm. So this is the responsibility of everybody for as long as you're true Ugandan. Now, getting to another story here, there's some stakeholders who have embarked on a project called SAVE for investment in Busoga region. This project is going to help very many people in Busoga region to learn how to save and trying to give them a mind of saving culture. This is very important in very many parts of this very country. And then according to reports here that I'm going to give you, Busoga region is one of the regions that has very many poor people in the country. So such projects are very well to embark on. Our reporter, Naomi, was there, and let us have what she had to us.
The availability of financial services like credit and savings remains limited for many Ugandans. The availability of financial services to the population aged 18 and over has improved from 57% in 2020 to 72% in 2021, according to Sinovate Limited's FinScope 2021 Uganda report. However, a sizable minority of Ugandans continue to live in poverty and receive inadequate services, especially in rural areas. As a result, many community leaders in the Busoga sub-region have begun to teach rural populations about investing and saving through SACCOs. With the intention of commercially cultivating sunflowers and raising goats, 100,000 workers have so far been hired.
Use this function as a restaurant to sensitize persons. We have within a program called Save for Investment. This is a program whereby we mobilize our clients, our members, to keep on saving, to adopt the culture of saving.
100,000 members. So in 100,000 members, each they have several SACCOs, saving SACCOs. So in those saving SACCOs, they have different projects. They have a project of sunflower right now that they are doing the saving cash allowance. They want to start a bigger farm of sunflower very soon. They have also, they want to involve themselves also in goat farming. That's what I got involved in, goat farming. They want also to involve themselves in value addition, buying raw materials, products, and then they add value.
This will be accomplished by meeting with several village SACCOs and cooperatives to identify needs and provide solutions. Members of these villages have so far been able to invest in farming practices through being mobilized.
That per every district, at least we put there a model farm, depending on the interest of those members within that district. Like setting up an example, like within Jinja district, we resolved that they will be doing dairy farming. But alongside with the other small activities, other economic activities like poultry, like piggery, like improved farming in the sugarcane growing, such activities like that.
Local authorities take a number of steps to assure the sustainability of development projects in the area, including educating the populace about the development trends they can adopt, particularly with regard to saving and investing, and charged Busoga women with leading development initiatives. Women, they have told you to engage into development projects. But what I can say is, let's be part of these initiatives. But as we do that, I want to make sure you understand what you are doing.
After mobilizing them to come up in their subgroups, because within this organization, our activities are done through subgroups in between 15 to 30 members. So within those groups, we usually visit them, we sensitize them on development activities and on other development purposes like saving.
In order to provide financial services to rural populations, it is essential to support SACCOs and other community-based savings and credit organizations. This would be made easier by the application of pertinent laws and policies, as well as the existence of powerful apex organizations that encourage the growth of sustainable SACCOs. Naomi Mtumba, Smart24 TV.
Thank you very much, Naomi Mtumba, for that very report that you compiled from Busoga region. But before I go far, in 2021, the report from the Uganda Bureau of Statistics revealed that Busoga region has the poorest people in Uganda. That is 2021. And then it went ahead and said that it has also showed that poor people in Uganda have increased from 8 to 8.3 million. Remember, this was 2021. The reports for 2022 to 2024, we haven't yet reached it down. Now, if the number has been increasing up that level in 2021, what about now? So such programs are very important. And now we'll be going in for another short break. And when we come back, still, we'll be having more of the reports, including the Telenga oil project. Stay around.
Smart24, driving business.
Say goodbye to paperwork and travel costs. Now every MTN customer can register to invest in securities anytime and anywhere with Zabu in a few simple steps. Step 1. Dial *292#. Step 2. Select option 1. Register with Zabu. Step 3. Enter your full names. Step 4. Enter your national identification number. Step 5. Enter your national identification card number. In 24 hours, you will receive an SMS confirming your registration. Congratulations, you are now ready to invest.
He must be rich, tall, handsome, from a respectable family. He must have a maid because at our home we do not work.
Conductor Masao.
Why? Obadde olobye ku ssimu?
Yamunange, anti yo TV enkolera.
Enjoy a new world of entertainment with over 80 TV and radio channels, plus movies from wherever you are. Download the YoTV Channels app from your app store and enjoy 30 days of free streaming with MTN.
YoTV Channels.
Smart24, driving business.
A great welcome once again from that commercial break. The business edition is still going on. Now, getting to another story, we're going to speak the Tilenga oil project that is being done here in Uganda that is expected to contribute to this economy in as far as infrastructure development is concerned and business opportunities. Our reporter Ivan Tibainkana had to make some little research about this Tilenga project that is going to contribute to our economy here. Let's have more of the details that he had to compile for us.
Development of the Tilenga oil project, part of the two main projects in the Alberta and Graben, has lately secured a clear direction, judging by the current progress of the onshore developments spread across the northern part in Murchison Falls National Park and the south in rural Bulisa district, where works on the industrial area and central processing facility are on course.
Regarding the Tilenga project, we have started the civil works regarding the industrial area. We have also started the civil works regarding the well pads. The well pads are the areas where we'll drill the wells in order to produce oil.
We are close to 3,000. About 2,000 are here inside the industrial area, and on the well pad, because we started also the activity of the well pad, about 800. Okay, so about 2,200, 800. 2,200 inside the industrial area, 800 on the offside. And we have the north branch, which will be on Monday. I think they'll give you the more data on the north branch. But the south, we are 3,000, and we will arrive to 8,000. This is what is planned. The peak, once the maximum will be at 8,000 person working around. And the north and the south, okay, the whole POB of the project.
6,400 hectares of land are to be utilized in effecting all the necessary developments, both the Tilenga and Eco projects. From the camps, new and renovated road infrastructure, among others, to the well pads. Of the 31 well pads, 10 are in Murchison Falls National Park and the rest in the south of the project, targeting all the 426 wells interconnected by flow lines to the central processing facility, all with a restoration and decommissioning plan at the fall of the project.
Very specific handover process, so we don't hand over a site that's been restored until the government authorities say it's okay. So we come and do an inspection with Uganda Wildlife Authority. It also involves the district environment officer, and also sometimes we have representation from NEMA. So they all come, and it's only when all of those parties agree and we have a formal sign-off of the well pad, and then a formal handover as well. So as of now, we've handed over all of the exploration pads except for 2, which are currently in the process of being handed across.
It's mid of 2025. We'll be ready with the construction and ready to produce in this facility. So from this facility, we inject the oil inside the feeder line that goes to join the other line coming from Kingfisher and go to the EDDOBOOZI project. It's 3 by 1.5, sorry, 2 by 1.5. But you know, this is from outside to outside, which we are not using even all of it. What we are using is now inside to inside, and eventually, let's say the industrial area is a CPF is 800 by 800. This is the main point that we have to remember. It's 800 by 800.
According to the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, there is more to comprehend about the value and gravity of the project as a new dawn for socio-economic transformation amidst national and international anxiety and concern over oil and gas extremes, with production expected in mid-2025.
So these 4 projects, Tilenga at about 4 billion, 4 to 5 billion, Kingfisher 2 to 3 billion, ECOP about 5 billion, although part of it is in Tanzania. Then the refinery also is expected to be about 4 billion. Altogether come at more than $15 billion. And they're happening at the same time. So that's why you see that the oil and gas project is 10 times the biggest project that Uganda has had. Now, you will agree with me that this is a very significant opportunity for the country in terms of providing goods and services. Of course, it's even more advantageous because the oil and gas operations in Uganda are onshore. Onshore means they're on land.
The Tilenga project has availed 9 key contract areas and countless subcontract opportunities. Key areas in oilfield services, drilling rigs, EPSCC, electrical logging and camp management services, oil country tubular goods, waste management, access roads, among others. With fast oil a key priority, the load stream has so far attracted 3,000 workers at the industrial area and the central processing facility, with local companies such as Pearl Engineering and EnviroServe, for instance, tagged in, and the number of workers expected to rise to 8,000 when production starts. Ivan Tibenkana, Smart24 TV.
Thank you, Ivan Tibenkana, for that detailed report. But now, according to some other reports that are coming on your way, we're seeing that, however, much as Tilenga oil project is going to contribute in as far as infrastructure is concerned and construction of roads, creating business opportunities for agricultural products, but it has also have some issues. However, it should be noted that Tilenga project is already causing some major environmental and social impacts in that very way. Sometimes there are those that are going to be harm, and of course that is a blessing to these guys. We may have some other things going wrong because of the project, like environment and stuff, but still there are other techniques that they can put across to make sure that some disadvantages, things are not happening. Now, getting to another story here, we're now rushing to Bunyoro sub-region. We went there and meet some of the stakeholders, and they reacted on what they call the oil project vis-a-vis tourism. How is the oil project in Bunyoro? This is going to affect the tourism sector in the same district. Our reporter Bronia Katsimi had more of these stories from Bunyoro region. Let us see what she had to research for us from there.
Bunyoro sub-region has for long been known for its rich cultural heritage and natural beauty. With its lush forests, rolling hills and stunning lakes, it has long been a popular destination for tourists from all over the world to many attractions, including the biggest national park, Murchison Falls. However, the oil and gas projects in the region have offered a mix of developments, inspiring infrastructure growth, crucial for the tourism industry, and concern for impact still.
A number of places were not accessible. But today, the area is accessible, the roads leading to the project area, but also providing access to the communities. And really we feel that's a very, very big achievement for the infrastructure development, which is helping our people and developing this area. And of course, this other side, we have an airport which is being constructed, which is, I'm told, about 95% complete, an international airport in this area, which is going to facilitate the development of the oil and gas business, but also improve the tourism potential.
Despite environmental concern from the oil projects, a proponent argues that with proper regulations and management, the environment can be protected and the potential drawbacks on the tourism industry in Bunyoro and other areas can be managed, especially with the activities in the northern part of the Tilenga project that sits in Maxon Falls National Park.
Yes. Why we do this is because Maxon Falls has a national park. One, it is the biggest park in the country. And it is 3,893 square kilometers. And on top of being the biggest, it is the most visited park in the country, meaning it generates lots of revenue for the Uganda Wildlife Authority, UWA, as an organization. So anything that negatively impacts on the tourism and the biodiversity will directly affect the inflow of cash and even affect the economy.
With the growing infrastructure in areas such as Bulisa, part of Bunyoro, all responding to the oil and gas developments, there is anticipation for development beyond just the tourism industry, pulling in numerous job opportunities in the hospitality and other services aided by the anticipated population growth.
The development of oils, at least people are building good houses. Again, there is more job opportunities. Before the discovery of this oil, people of Bulisa used to move from far, searching for.
The key to ensuring that the oil and gas boom has a positive impact on the tourism industry in the region lies in proper protective planning and environmental management, enforcing environmental conservation. Bronya Katsime, Smart24 TV.
Thank you very much for being a great view of Smart24 TV, especially this very program, the Business Edition, where we make a recap of the stories that we compile for you in our weekly bulletin. Remember to get us on all our social media platforms. That's Smart24 TV official on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Or you can as well follow me on my Twitter handle. This is @Pedison Mombere. Let's again meet next Sunday. Stay around.